with soot-stained alleys. A young orphan named Rowan lived amid poverty and hardship. His boots with holes meant the winter snows would always find their way in, and his once fashionable coat was a mere patchwork. One cheek was adorned with a crescent-shaped scar that seemed to mock him. Children giggled around him, while adults stared with pity. Rowan was never chosen for adoption, but something seemed to hold him close. Luck, perhaps. It was not the kind that shimmered or boasted, but the quiet kind that came in anonymous moments when things were difficult. Like when the orphanage built a new roof during a snowstorm, the beam smashed directly into his sleeping area, or when he stumbled while cleaning the textile mill. As he turned 18, Rowan left the orphanage with a small sack of stale bread and no definite plans. The world felt vast and indifferent to him yet, but he didn't feel whole. He eventually found work at a small, barely visible bookshop, which was owned by an elderly woman with questionable mannerisms and eyes that seemed to probe deeply into the world beneath the surface. Rowan never looked at Ilara's face, and her curious eyes never stared back. Instead, she asked if there were any adventure stories without heroes being perfect. Rowan hesitated, but the old woman handed him one of the books. Upon turning the final page, he almost dropped the thing from his shock. It felt entirely different from receiving a gold piece or a new pair of shoes. By the next week, Ilara returned with an umbrella held by one hand and unsteady steps. She had walked through a storm to find him. He took her hand, steadied her, and whispered, "Luck, you know, is what clears the path. It doesn't control who uses it." She looked at him as if she needed to see it too. As her voice filled the room, "Ilara, you know what? When I met you, I couldn't see it. You were a stranger to me, but then something changed, something inside me." He smiled up at her with gentle warmth. "I think maybe it was the love you gave me, Ilara. You know, I was a mess, Ilara. A huge mess, all covered in darkness and dust. But you made me see," he said gently, leaning in. "I see that you are the kind of person who can make a difference." She closed her eyes with a smirk. "I am." They continued to find each other around town, talking about stories, helping each other, and falling in love. Rowan's life became whole without a rich birthright or a beautiful face. But he had found love in the quiet kind